Hi YouTube. Today we have another compilation of Reddit confessions for this week. I have some pretty crazy and some dark stuff for you, so strap in and enjoy the show. Story 1. Sometimes I really want to run away and start over and just not tell anyone. I love my husband. I do. I love my in-laws. I love my life. Or at least I loved it. When my husband started developing a social media addiction, it turned into him secretly Snapchatting random women. As someone who wanted marriage to be the one safe thing I've had in my life, this hit so hard. Honestly, it feels like after we got married, he felt like he could stop trying. It's so hard on my spirit. I have poured myself into him and worked so hard to build the life I'm living. But I had dreams too. I was a girl once who only had to be young and pretty. I have always been obsessed with geology. I have begged him to go rock hounding with me 1,000,000 times. Nope. Singing is another passion of mine and has been a big part of my life. I'll listen to him talk about guitar for hours, but when I start up about singing, he often gets distracted and trails off into a different subject. In a lot of ways, I feel invisible in my own marriage life. I have no family. Nobody who cares. I often fantasize about running away to a different country or somewhere across the states and just healing. I am chronically ill though, and my husband pays most of the bills, so it's not really in the cards for me until I get some money stacked. For now, it's just a fantasy. Just wanted to get that off my chest. I feel so wound up all the time. Story 2. I suddenly lost all of my friends and they don't even know each other, but it really was by design. I hope everyone reading this is at ease. Since January of 2024, I've lost all of my friends one by one. Now, in August 2024, I look around and no joke, I am not exaggerating, no one is around. Except for my family, of course, but we don't have this bond of amazing trust because, well, my parents don't know much about traumas, confessions, and healing. I lost all of my friends for about the same reasons I found myself changing, and they decided to stay at the same place. But I have noticed a pattern in their behavior when it was over: cruelty. They left leaving a lot of marks and scars. And well, I will say it here, I am hurt. They were not a lot and didn't even know each other. Maybe 5 to 6 people? I just wanted to let it out. I am on a journey alone now. Nobody calls my phone, nobody wonders how I am, what I am doing. The worst thing is, I have MMA classes with the worst of the so-called friend who betrayed me with my ex and rubbed it in my face when our friendship was over. He did that twice and the story went very far. But yeah, here I am, haha. I thank God I am okay. But I cannot lie. Sometimes I feel lonely and I keep thinking of the horrible things that have been done and said to me, and it hurts, man. And now I sort of don't know what to do. I surely know I will become the best version of myself. But other than that, I am a little bit lost and lonely, but never really alone at the end. I have God. May God help me and us all. Story 3. I don't always come home from work straight away. I pull over somewhere and chill for an hour or so. My alarm goes off at 3:30 a.m. and I head off to work between 4 to 4:30. I'm usually done with work before noon. My wife thinks that I should have the same amount of energy as her and used to complain that I would come home and nap for 30 minutes when she doesn't get to take a nap. But she doesn't wake up till 8 a.m. and honestly, she can nap anytime she wants. It doesn't bother me. Sometimes I get off work several hours early, which allows me several extra hours to delay going home. So instead of getting mad stares from her for taking a nap at home, I now take a nap in my car on the way home or listen to audiobooks, or peruse social media, etc. Sometimes you have to pick your battles, and this ain't it. Edit, we have 3 kids, 1 preteen and 2 teens. They're old enough to manage themselves. Story 4. Please tell me it's not my fault. I mean, I was just a kid. When I was little, I lived with my grandma, little sister 6F, and cousin 9F, and I was also 9. For whatever reason, and I still don't remember how or why it happened, but we were playing house, just the 3 of us, and it turned sexual. I think she was the mom, and I was the dad. I didn't like being dad, but she was very persuasive and I was taller, so I gave in. The first couple of times we played, it was innocent enough, but out of the blue she suggested that we be realistic and do what parents do at nighttime. I didn't know what that, and she showed me by taking her pants off and putting my hand in her no square. We never did that again because she said it hurts, so we switched to just using my tongue instead. We did it so many times that she normalized it for me. After she moved out, because my grandma had caught wind of our little game, I had no one to play with. I ended up performing the same acts on my sister once under the guise of the same game and another cousin who lived with us. She was just 4. I feel so horrible thinking about it, but it wasn't my fault, or was it? Story 5. 8. I'm thinking about ending it when my money runs out. I'm 21, and at the beginning of this year I quit my 9-to-5 desk job. I was told by a relative that worked in the same field that I shouldn't stay longer than 2 years, so I didn't. Now it's been 7 months. I've been paying my parents' rent with my savings and still have a lot left over. I've been told to invest it, save it, put it towards something good, but I've done none of that. Everyone has given me advice on what to look for in a job, what to do, but I've done none of it. I have no ambition or motivation to make any change in my life. It's so pathetic, and I hate the person I see every time I see my reflection. I know what I need to do and how to do it. I've even made 100 lists in my head, and none of them have come into fruition. I look at my parents and think how sad they must be that their eldest is such a disappointment. So when my money runs out, and I've given it all to my parents through my rent, I'm thinking of ending it. I've thought of 1,000 ways to do it. I even convince myself some days that I don't deserve the quick and painless outs either. But I have a lot of people who would be inconvenienced if I go. I don't want to trouble anyone while I'm alive, let alone when I'm gone. Maybe this is depression. I don't know. I've been told by my parents and an ex that I'm not depressed when I've told them I feel that way. And I get their reasoning. I like to joke and laugh a lot. I don't know if my parents would approve of therapy either, and I've never felt better after telling someone about my feelings. I always get my biggest fears confirmed or my greatest hopes rejected. I guess I'm writing this to ask if anyone has been in this situation. How did you get out of it? I don't want to unalive myself, but I don't know any other way out of being a burden on the people around me. Story 6. I start falling asleep every time I get into an argument with my significant other. Me, 22M, and my girlfriend, 25F, have been dating for 4 years. Since we started dating, every time she gets mad or upset at me, I start struggling to keep my eyes open. It doesn't matter if I'm standing, sitting, or laying down. I don't want to fall asleep and try as hard as I can to stay awake until I can at least make sure she's okay. I hate this and don't know what's wrong with me. Story 7. My husband loves it, but I feel gross after. So I am so embarrassed about this and just need to vent. My husband claims that I am the only person he has ever had sex with, although I know that he has done other things in the past. Who hasn't? However, I have been with quite a few different partners and experienced lots of different things, but my husband enjoys something in the bedroom that I do because I want to make him happy. I think it was mostly a shock at first, and I thought he was kidding, but when I finally agreed, he was just overly excited, and of course I want him to be. He has me sit over his face and pee. All in all, by me doing this for him, it has made our relationship in the bedroom great, but after and during I feel just so gross about it, almost guilty in a way, LOL. I never thought this would be something I would ever do, and yes, I enjoy it, but I do feel like it's a dark secret almost. Thanks for listening. I have just been holding on to this, and I honestly feel better now that someone out there knows. Story 8. I went to poop in a public bathroom for the first time in my 28-year-old life. I've always been poop shy. My body tends to not have to go until I get home, so for the most part, it's not an issue. Whenever I did have to go, I just held it in, which I know is not good. Today at work, I realized I have to poop 2 hours into my shift due to drinking a milkshake at midnight before bed. I just switched departments and work in a building with only 5 active male employees, 2 that use a separate restroom closer to their office. After reading a Reddit thread about pooping in public restrooms, I gained the confidence to give it a try. I scoped out and strategically timed so that no one would see me or go in when I was in. I pushed so hard that I strained myself and almost popped a blood vessel in my head. I realize it's not easy to poop if you're not relaxed. I was so anxious that someone would walk in and see me in the stall I couldn't relax. So anyways, the shit comes out within 30 seconds of pushing and I rush out of the restroom after washing my hands. Upon getting back to my chair, I partly felt proud of this accomplishment, but I'm also annoyed because I don't think I got everything out. That's what I get for rushing. P.S. I don't think I blew up the bathroom. I went so fast and I didn't smell anything, but I still sprayed. The cleaning lady walked in 5 minutes after my session, and I hope she doesn't smell my insides. Story 9. My brother's girlfriend kissed me when I was 14. They're married now and I never told him. I'm 18 now. My brother got married when I was 14. His girlfriend and he were both 25 back then. They were engaged when this happened. She would flirt with me sometimes and make sexual comments to me. She smacked me in the butt one time when no one was around but treated it like a joke. I didn't take it serious. But the incident I'm talking about, we were alone and she was flirting very aggressive, like more than ever before. Then she sat next to me and asked if she could kiss me. Even though I was doing some flirting too, I knew it was wrong and I told her no. I honestly did say no. But she said if a girl wants you, it's rude to say no and you'll break her heart. I was thinking about what she said, but then she just started doing it anyway. I told her no again, but she still didn't stop. Just kept going but saying compliments at the same time like, "You're so adorable. I have to kiss you, I can't live without you, LOL. I just stayed still and let her do it. Then I snapped out of it as she started touching me in other places, let's say, and I noped off that couch. After I got up, she calmed down and it looked like we were both just embarrassed. And of course, she made sure that it was between us from then on. I never said anything. Then they got married a few months later. But I still think about that time when I see them. My bro is so good to me, and I'm ashamed for doing that to him and also for not telling him. But I know he would not believe me if I tell him how she basically forced it on me. I really never wanted it, but it's too hard to believe. Having my brother hate me would be the worst thing ever. I just hope it was a one-time thing for her and that she doesn't hurt him with another guy. Story 10. I've never had anything like this happen to me at a party. I recently realized that one of my most recurrent fantasies came true, and the experience was so intense that I still think about it. I'm a 19-year-old girl, and while I've always been open-minded, there was something that had been on my mind for a long time, but I had never dared to try at the idea of completely letting myself go in the moment with someone I barely knew. It all started one night when I went out with a group of friends to a new bar in the city. It was a different place, with a relaxed atmosphere and soft music in the background that made you want to stay. While we were there, a guy I had never seen before approached our group. He was a friend of a friend and quickly joined in the conversation. He was handsome, confident, and had a smile that caught me from the first moment. As the night progressed, I noticed that our eyes met more and more. There was something about the way he spoke, the way he looked at me, that made my heart beat faster. I could feel that tension in the air, that electricity that only happens when you know something is going to happen, but you're not sure exactly when or how. At some point, my friends decided to leave for another bar, but I stayed, saying I wanted to finish my drink. He decided to stay too, and suddenly we found ourselves alone in a corner of the bar. The conversation continued, but now there was an undeniable charge between us. Without thinking too much, I walked over to him, and before I could hesitate, I kissed him. It was a kiss filled with desire, and at that moment, I knew there was no turning back. We got carried away by the passion of the moment, and before I knew it, we were in the bathroom of the bar, kissing with an intensity I hadn't felt in a long time. The fact that we were in such a public place, with the possibility of someone walking in at any moment, made it even more exciting. With each passing second, my skin tingled and adrenaline coursed through my body. We didn't go beyond kissing. but the feeling of being so close to someone I just met, of giving myself over completely to the desire of the moment, was incredibly liberating. When we came out of the bathroom, we both smiled as if we were sharing a secret. I knew I probably wouldn't see him again, but that didn't matter. What stayed with me was the feeling of having experienced something I'd always wanted, of breaking a barrier I'd put on myself. Since that night, I feel more confident in myself, more connected to my desire, and more willing to explore what I really want without feeling limited by what others might think. It was an experience that taught me a lot about myself, and while I don't know if I would do it again, I don't regret letting myself get carried away by that moment of pure passion.